Whether you're running a stock bottom end 302, GT40 combo, heads cam intake, or even a boosted higher cubic inch application like we have here in the white car, there's some things in your build that might be robbing you of crucial horsepower and torque that you don't even know about. So in today's video, we got an issue with our white car we're gonna have to try to address as we got our tools ready to go. And we're gonna actually make a trip over to the dyno shop where we're gonna actually measure out some of the items that could be causing our issue. So stick around in the video, as it might be something that might be handy and useful for you on your build. As most of you guys know here on the channel, this is my 410 Windsor production junkyard 351 block that we run on our stick shift turbo fox body. And we've had this motor out, we've probably had about 150 to 200 passes on this motor, and it's kind of starting to show its face. As we've actually ate a belt with the turbo, we've actually nipped a gasket with the head gasket, but not enough to where we actually have to stop running the car. But considering how many passes we have at the track and how many street miles we have in the car, it's about time that we do a little bit of maintenance and we check some of the items underneath of our valve cover that could be robbing us of horsepower and torque at the track and on the street. So what I'm going to end up having to do is get this valve cover off to where I can expose one of the actual valve springs. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some air in the cylinder and we're going to force the valve up. And that'll allow me to actually use my tool to remove the retainer and the locks so I can get the spring out. At that point, we'll keep the valve steady while we go over to the shop. I only really need to pull one of the springs because when we go over there, we're going to be checking coil bind, and I have to actually check install height one more time. That way I know what it is on the machine to set it to when it's time. Even if you're running a stock E7 heads, GT40 heads, this stuff is still applicable. So I'm always pushing for valve springs, as valve springs actually wear out over time like tires do. So considering the fact we've put 150 plus passes on this motor build, which means it was built in mid 2020, probably about time that we check these springs. I had a suspicion when we were at the dyno just recently, the motor started nosing over before it should. So let's get this valve cover off and get this thing taken care of. This will actually be the first time that I've actually taken this valve cover off since we built the motor. I forgot we actually switched these over to Beehive, which is pretty cool. Nice little setup. So you're probably wondering, well, what's the reason why you're only pulling one spring? Well, let me explain real quick. Valve springs are like a maintenance item. At higher RPMs, they don't close the valve effectively anymore, and it definitely robs you of horsepower and torque. And this is definitely something that you should be checking every couple years, every so many passes at the track, street miles, whatever. It's definitely something that could rob you of horsepower, and you definitely want to keep an eye on this stuff, especially in applications that are driven pretty hard, pretty often like this is I'm going to actually put a compression tester fitting in here in place of this spark plug to put air into this cylinder. It'll keep the valves up, and we'll go ahead and get this one rocker off, because again, all we need to do is really check one spring to give us an idea what coil bind is, to see if that spring's actually been floating, because if it's not... All right, we just got back from the machine shop and we checked a couple of the springs. I didn't get a whole lot of footage there. The springs were just fine. They're the Beehive springs, as you can see. But what we're actually doing here, what we figured out, I'm trying to set valve, and we found out that we put the Morel limited short travel lifters in. So Dave is going to show us how he sets from the bottom, because he had told me that you have to set these from when he built this motor years ago, he set them from the bottom. So, and I'm not real sure how to do that.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead. See, now nothing's happening, so give it another little turn.
Okay.
Okay, now we know we're on the bottom. Now
Okay,
we need to wrench back them off.
Easy about this.
Need a wrench.
Well, I have wrench in. Wrench. tight?
Fuckers lazy tight.
Were they?
The valves are like wide open.
Nah, come on.
They were.
That's all right. That's why when I went over to ask him, I'm like, wait a minute, did you set these on a specific lifter? And I'm like, I'm glad I did. I was like, yeah, full turn, we're good. And he's like, wait a minute. Those are the Morel HLTs, or whatever they call them. Limited travels.
All right, so here, that's 0, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You just feel it. It's real obvious.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So now, if we just give this a half turn.
And this is setting from the bottom.
Well, we haven't got there yet, but yeah.
Right.
Give it a half turn.
Clutch cables in the way.
And that moved the valve open. But we'll see if it rolls back after a bit. Each thread is like a certain amount of, and I don't really care, to tell you the truth. Well, it seems tight still. It's not really giving up anything.
So just so you know, the all lifters are a little bit different, but most of the Ford lifters are like 100, 150 thousandths as a hydro lifter. So there's movement in the lifter for the oil to pump up. The limited travel ones only have 15 to 30 thousandths. So there's not a lot of travel at all in the plunger. And that's why we came over here and I brought him over here.
This one is over tightened. We already know that.
Okay.
So now we're going to back it off until we feel it release, and we'll know where the bottom is. So. There. That's the bottom. You can feel it release tension.
Okay. Yeah.
So now we count very carefully to 0. And or till it's loose or whatever. So we're like right there. That's go 90. I think I'm starting to get lash right about there.
It's about 0.
That's
right
all
there.
you get.
You get like a quarter.
Quarter is full turn.
That's what I thought.
So you barely,
Because it's a short travel.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys understand that, right? So that's exactly why we did this. Otherwise, I would have been hanging valves open and probably...
it wouldn't have started.
Yeah, it would have just...
So just in, just barely in. 0, 0, 0.
Okay. So now you're backing it off until you feel it release. Tedious shit right here.
Yeah, so
Probably just a quarter on
that's
both.
all you can do.
Yeah.
You find,
So
the bottom and then, or find the top even, and you can only go in a wee little bit.
Oh, this is the spring that we checked. When I was starting to put everything back together, let's just check the preload on one of the other ones or whatever. It'll give me an idea where we're at. It was just like crack quarter. I'm like, what the there's no way it's loose that fast. You know what I mean? So that's why I went to the next one and to the next one. So these two have to be adjusted now. And that I didn't go any further. That's when I stopped and I was like, dude, I'm fucking lost. This is nothing like that.
That's why these won't move. I didn't realize you gotta tighten them up also.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm here with Dave Dalk, Dalk Racing Engines, Super Coops Unlimited, Mad Scientist. You guys seen him in my videos all the time. So give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate everybody for watching. See you guys soon in the next video.